Danny, it's important to bounce back after Tuesday's defeat. What's your thoughts ahead of the game Saturday?
Yeah, I think we're all still a little bit confused how we didn't get points on Tuesday night. I think probably the worst thing we did was watch it back, because then you see how bad the refereeing decisions were. For me, two penalties and a goal that was scored that was perfectly fine. But look, it is what it is. And the positive out of it was that we were the better team for large parts of the game. As I said, we rode a storm for the first 15 minutes. I thought Halifax were very, very good, but we rode that storm. So look, there's a lot of positives to take out of the game. From a selfish perspective, we cannot control the officials. We can only control what we're doing, and we thought we'd done enough to win the game. So we've got a lot of confidence still going into the Boreham Wood game on Saturday. And you know what, we'll do what we always do, and we'll go for it, hammer and nail. So. And
one thing we spoke about after the game was, being clinical and taking these chances, and given the training today in the last few days, giving us a chance to reflect on that.
Yeah, and it's hard because I'd argue Harrison was clinical, and you at times all you're asking is people to do their jobs. So don't get me wrong, there was 3 or 4 other chances that we should have taken, and the game should have been done. But you could argue that about them in the first 15 minutes as well. So. It's those defining moments in games, those key incidents and events that decide whether you get points or not. And unfortunately, they didn't go our way on Tuesday. But as I said, the lads have been good in training. The confidence is still high because we're in good form. So we're looking forward to playing Boreham Wood on Saturday.
And speaking of training, one player who was back in training this week was Kins. It's been a long time coming. How's he been and how's it been like?
Yeah, look, it's a process. I think we can't run before we can walk. He's still boxes he needs to tick, and today was and Thursday was massive boxes to be ticked because he's involved. He's doing the competitive stuff. He's not non-contact. He's full blown in the session. He's still got fitness stuff he needs to work on, and we just keep building those blocks, that process, so we can hopefully get him back on the pitch as soon as possible.
Another positive to that as well, we've had players who have been self-isolating with COVID, and we probably expect those players to be coming make their way back soon.
Yeah, so George Arroyo back in, so that's good. Joe Roberts is back in, so it adds more numbers to training, which is good because obviously you can get higher intensity at the sessions, and also it puts a little bit of pressure on those ones that have been filling those spaces. You've got to keep doing your job. So yeah, it's good. You want players available. You want competition for places. You want people chasing people for starts. So that's a positive all round.
It's exactly that. It's competition in place, isn't it? And when someone's not quite performing, the other person comes in and arguably does a better job.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's about performance. We want to see players doing their jobs and earning the right to stay on the pitch. You don't really want to be in a situation where, regardless of how a player plays, he's going to play because we haven't got anyone else to go in that position. You don't want to be in that. We had that last season when we had runs of form at times because we didn't have anyone else to go in. Now we've got players that can go in, and obviously with the boys that are returning, it puts even more pressure on. And pressure's a good thing, in my opinion. It's important to have pressure because it means it's worth doing. It means it's worth something. So we look forward to those lads putting those players under the necessary pressure that they need to be under, and hopefully we can kick on.
I'm not going to keep going back to the Halifax game, but it did show, a great example of that was when Mo and Ricky came off, Harrison and Chike came on. We scored what we see as a perfect good goal and would have made the difference in the game.
Yeah, and that's what you want. Everyone's got different roles. We've spoken about this before about substitutions, whether you start, whether you don't start, and people talk about being dropped or being taken out of the team all we do is we try and talk about it as changing their roles. And you're a starter or you're a finisher, and Harrison and Chike were finishers. They were the people that come to finish the game for us. They did that against Auckland, did it well, and they should have done it well against Halifax, albeit from a really poor decision from the officials.
Yeah, exactly that. And looking at Boreham Wood, last time we played them here, back at their place, a 3-2 thriller, but what we'd been shown that game was we can bounce back from moments of disappointment.
Yeah, but we let ourselves down in that one. We did all the hard work, we got ourselves back. I mean, even going back to that one, you're talking about officials. The scary thing for me is we speak more about officials now in our post and pre-match analysis than we do about opposition and us. And Boreham Wood away, it was never a penalty. And we've sent that into the league, and they've basically said that obviously, Mo hasn't even touched the player who's dived for the penalty. and it puts you on the back foot. We had obviously a different experience on Tuesday, but we bounced back against Boreham Wood. We got ourselves back to 2-2, and then a stupid mistake, an uncharacteristic mistake from us at the end, and they get the winner. So we were out for a little bit of, I wouldn't say revenge, because obviously it was our fault, not theirs, but we do need to right some wrongs against them on Saturday.
They'll be a tough team in the playoffs last season as well, so we'll hopefully be able to give them a good test.
You look at our next 6 games, they're I suppose from a neutral's perspective, they're mouthwatering, to be fair, because we're playing against, I think, definitely 5 of the 6 are teams that expect to be in and around it come the end of the season, and yeah, it's a great challenge. It's a good place to be at the minute.
It's where we want to be, if we want to get up higher up in the table. It's the sort of games we want to play.
Yeah, look, I'm always quite realistic about stuff and not running before we can walk. Like, let's make sure we get a good stable finish this season to make progress on what we did last year, and then we'll see where that takes us. But the most important thing is we hit that points total that we want internally. That means that we've made progress and we've had success this year. And if anything comes after that, then that's just an added bonus.
And a 2-2 draw for Boreham Wood last time out against Notts County as well. I'm sure you will watch the game.
Yeah, no, look, it is what it is. As I said, at the minute, with the fact that potentially there are no relegations, we're just trying to focus on ourselves really, and what we want to implement and the style of football that we want to play. So yeah, it was great, but you know what, we don't know. Luke might make 4 changes for Saturday, and we've planned for something that's not there, so we just focus on ourselves.
Are you ready to give a shot? More information below. Click here for the next video, click here to subscribe.